So before we dive right into this week's conversation, I want to invite you to sit with this question. What is your relationship with time? Not how you schedule your day, but how time feels in your body. In this conversation with holistic time coach Becca Rich, we explore time as something deeply personal, shaped by systems, stories, and the seasons of our lives. It's tender, it's thoughtful, and maybe exactly what you didn't know you needed. Let's get into it. Hi there. Welcome to the Empowered and Embodied Show. I'm Kim Romaine.
And I'm Louise Neal. We're two transformational coaches who are also fellow travelers on the path of growth and self-discovery. And we're inviting you along for the ride.
That's right. We're right here in the trenches with you, navigating the ups and downs of life. And each week we'll be sharing our own experiences, bringing you conversations with amazing guests, and exploring insights and strategies that have helped us find more clarity, confidence, and ease in our lives.
And trust us, we do not have it all figured out. We're learning and growing right alongside you.
So if you're ready to rise above the chaos, doubt, and confusion that sometimes life throws our way,
and step into a more empowered and embodied version of yourself,
then you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Empowered and Embodied Show. I am one of your co-hosts, as always, Kim Romaine, joined by my other co-host.
That's me. I'm Louise. I'm the other co-host. And here, too, we have a guest.
Yay! It's Becca. Hi, I'm Becca. Nice to meet you.
Becca, we are so glad that you're here. I'm going to let the world know a little bit about you, and then we'll dive into our juicy conversation today. So Becca Rich is the holistic time coach. That's it. That's all I have to say about her. I just love the title so much. Like, that's all you need to know. Holistic time coach for creative, sensitive, neurodivergent, and spiritual humans who are unlearning, Charlie likes it too, who are unlearning hustle culture and learning to honor their own rhythms. She helps people untangle their relationship with time, planning, and follow through. Not to do more, but to do what matters most with gentleness and integrity. Becca, one, so glad that you're here. And two, like, I have my own definition, but I would love to hear from you. Like, what the fuck is a relationship with time?
Yeah, it's our connection to it. It's like a relationship with money or a relationship with a person. Like, we have thoughts, we have feelings, we behave in certain ways around it. And so, yeah, it's how you interact with this thing that, you know, society has their own definition, and each culture around the world has their own definition, and our bodies have their own definition. And like, how do we reconcile all of these things?
That sounds complicated.
It can be, yeah. I think that's why so many of people struggle with time, right? Like, there's a whole capitalist version of time of like, I have to hustle, I have to like pay my bills, and I have to be really productive. And that's usually what we're brought up around, right? And then different countries around the world. I've been traveling for the last 5 years, like we talked about, and every country I've been to, like the general vibe is different. I remember my first time I went to Italy, and like people didn't have their phones or a laptop at a cafe, and they would just sit there for 3 hours, just like reading and journaling and looking around and doing nothing. And I was like, we would never do this in the US. Like, what is happening? And I think it's really cool that we get to approach this kind of like invisible but very impactful force on our life, and in a holistic way, like with all of these different lenses.
As you're saying that, I'm thinking, yeah, relationship is absolutely the right word. Because when we think about any type of relationship we have with other humans, so when we think about relationships, first and foremost, I think most people would think about relationships with other humans. And I don't know about the two of you, but I have never had a relationship in my entire life that was always easy. There's always been some complexity that comes in with that relationship.
Yep. And we're humans. we're constantly changing. We as like beings are complicated. So of course, like relationships with others get complicated, and our relationships to time, as viewed usually through systems of oppression that we live under, of course it's complicated. And I think like there's ways to boil it down to make it really simple, right? In a relationship with a human being, it's like just show up as close to your truth and communicate the best that you can. And, you know, whatever happens. And we do our best for each other. And I think the same goes for time. Like, you just identify how you really want to spend your time and do your best to do that. You don't have to be perfect.
So interesting. So you use the word oppression in there. And so, right. And I know we're going to get into the juicy details of like how you describe time liberation later. How do these systems of oppression keep us connected with any relationships that we have? Like, what are our thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it is a million different things, to be honest with you. And in a relationship, like in the context sort of, I guess, maybe with time as well, like my partner, you know, you're in a relationship with a partner, for me romantic, but it can go still for business partner, it can go for friendships. Like quality time is a core essence, a core piece of a relationship, right? And so like when we're super busy and overwhelmed and not present in our lives and just like really stressed about time and never feel like we never have enough money and time and resources, like all of that comes together. And usually it's because of these systems that we live in, right? Capitalism is like a whole economic system built on exploitation. Like we're being constantly exploited, and we have to like fight for our time back from it, right? So that's just one thing. And I think ableism is another great example in relationships. Like there's norms about what you can and can't do, and your body's functions, your mind's functions, and there's a typical, right, neurotypical or able-bodied. And when we aren't in the norm, quote unquote, like it affects people, it affects our work, it affects our time, it affects all of these things. And I mean, I could keep going forever and ever, but I'd love to open it up. What do y'all think?
Just this idea that there's like this one way to have this relationship, right? Or any relationship, I think is so limiting, yet so pervasive in everything that we do, right? That there's a very linear approach to time, and that we exchange it constantly. We don't have enough, or we need more, or like there's this whole thing that we get into around time. And when I think about it, as you were talking, Becca, it was like, I think I was taught that there was only one way to look at time, right? Like there's only like that way. And of course, and it becomes like the air that we breathe, because we are all brought up thinking that there is this one way to have this relationship with time. And so then when it doesn't work for us, then it starts to feel really like it's a me problem, not a relationship problem.
Yeah, it goes both ways for sure. Like I think one of the ways that I love talking about time is like time shapes us, right? Time shapes the earth. I was studied engineering and geology, and so like I was so into time in rocks, and now I'm in like, you know, I've done ancestral work, and there's ancestral time that we can connect in, and doing the things that my ancestors did like really expands my time in so many ways. Like I feel so at home within myself, and that makes me feel like I have so much more energy and time and spaciousness in my life. And being in other countries that aren't so like hustle focused is another way that I've really like my environment. We can change our environment. there's so many things that we can do to create more spaciousness within our relationship with time. And even nature, like nature is a huge, beautiful evidence in front of us all day, every day, of like how cyclical time is, and our body, like everything. I love it.
So I wanna talk a little bit about, because there's a lot of privilege in that.
Yeah.
Right? I'm hearing and like beautiful, absolutely, I get it. And I'm thinking about those people who are like, well, I can't go live in a different country. Well, I don't have access to, nature. I don't have whatever it is. It's that feeling, and the more constricted people feel. And I know that, right, a lot of people that we're all working with right now are feeling a lot of constriction in the world right now. Lots of different countries, particularly in North America, though.
Yeah.
So what do we do, or how do we look at this through that lens of, but it is accessible to everyone?
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I love to say is like traditional time management, harmful productivity myths are like everyone has the same 24 hours. And I hate that. It's rooted in a lack of understanding of systemic inequality. And so like when we, like no matter what system of oppression you're impacted by, that decreases your access to time, like in a tangible everyday way. And also there's this other way that we can think about time in sort of like again, like kind of get out of the linear sort of capitalist clock that we're so used to, of like past, present, future, very structured, hour by hour, minute by minute, and like start to play around with it. And it depends on where someone is, right? Like in their relationship with money, time, their work, the people in their world. And so one of the beautiful things that I love to talk about is communal time. And so being in touch with your community is one of the fastest ways to get your time back. So like shared babysitting, mutual aid, like all of these really tangible things can help someone who is like more in this constricted scarcity place immediately get their time back. And a great thing, like I saw an example recently of someone that I'm friends with on Facebook that was just like, hey, I really want to do, I think it was like salsa class. I really want to do salsa class, but I need a babysitter. I can't afford one right now. Like, does anyone want to babysit, and in exchange for a babysitting, then I'll be like, they were trying to set up like this exchange of like time and family, communal, whatever relationship. And it was such a great example, because we can support one another in so many ways that our creative minds just need to like be asked, and then it will come up with like a million different ways to free up time and resources and get sort of out of this constricted place. That's one way.
And I feel like that you touched on something so important there, is this idea that time and finding time, managing time. First of all, I don't love time management, because the term managing. It's just like managing our emotions too. Stop saying that, please. Don't. But that place is so tied to so many other relationships in our life. It's our relationship to money, it's relationship to other people, it's relationships to our community, to the collective. Because we can't disconnect ourselves truly from time. Time is just happening. Time is a thing, and it's just happening. And we can't disconnect ourselves from it. But at that place of how deeply connected it is the term I would use here would be to decondition that relationship from the norms that we have. So if I'm sitting here going, okay, I run a business, I have meetings, I have times that I meet with people, I have a schedule that they can get into. What types of shifts are available to me when I'm sitting here just trying to figure out how to plan my day?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things available to us, and it's about one, figuring out like what doesn't feel right, what still feels tight or overwhelming or like anxious or scarce. And that's usually like the wisdom, that's the kernel that I always go to when I'm working with somebody. But for the sake of this, one of the quickest ways that as an individual to start experiencing more time liberation is listening to your rhythms, like really, really, really becoming aware of your cycles, your energy, your needs, your body, like all of the rhythms that you have. Like I think that our bodies are our own clock. And so when you plan your day, the closer you get to you can be strategic. I'm an engineer and project manager, so like my brain loves this stuff. You can get really strategic with pairing tasks with specific energy and needs in your cycle. And just doing that expands so much of our time. Our nervous systems love it, right? And instead of like approaching your day as like this linear, rigid thing, like you have to make sure everything goes perfectly. Another way of liberating your time is being flexible and adapting and putting your body first over the calendar. I think that's a really common thing that people experience, is because we're so used to systems and people and jobs telling us how to spend our time, especially when we become self-employed. If you are, that's a whole deconditioning process and healing of flexing your agency and your power and your choice, and like really being aware of your rhythms and matching specific things with them, and then keep matching it, keep flowing. It doesn't end there. Like it's not like a secret thing that you finally land on. Like it is constantly changing. And so learning how to adapt and listen to your body first is key.
As you're talking, I'm reminded of when I made the switch from corporate to entrepreneurship. I had a lot of that conditioning that came with me that I didn't know. And there was a lot of that. I must be at my desk by 8:30 and I must work until 4:30, or I'm not building a business, or I'm not contributing to that, is very structured, because I was in corporate for decades. That was just like this pattern that I had. You show up at work for 8:30 and you work, and sure, you take some breaks and do some things. Hopefully you're moving your body, but like there was this container that was productive. For me to kind of dismantle that and say, it's not about the time that I spend at my desk or the time that I work on a task. It's about the thing that I'm doing. It's about actually like getting stuff done. And sometimes it's 10 minutes or 15 minutes, not an hour. But yet there was such a huge shift for me to have to unhook from that habit, right? And I didn't even recognize it until I was well into my business and I'm starting to burn out again, going like, what the fuck is going on? I left my corporate job only to be chained to my desk in a different room in my house.
Yeah. And then on top of all of that, you're like the pressure of meeting your needs financially, on top of like, at least at our corporate jobs, like we're getting a paycheck. So there's even more pressure to like perform and produce. And I think like that it's so common, so pervasive. And there's still like, I think one of the ways that I love to talk about time liberation is freeing our minds from the oppressor, like the linear clock of society. Like we constantly have this like inner voice telling us that we have to do certain things at certain times. Like you're supposed to eat breakfast at this time and dinner at this time and lunch at this time and work for these periods. Like that's just all conditioning. Like literally, if you actually pause and follow your body and your nervous system and your emotions and your thoughts, like when you really tap in and approach your time in this really self-aware way, like we just, again, like just expand so much.
Well, and I think the liberation comes in when we honor it, how we can honor it. Right.
Yeah.
So I know, not for me anymore, but I know for several of my clients, they are designed to be very productive individuals, and they actually thrive off of it. Right. And I don't mean thrive in terms of the societal norm of what thriving or success looks like. I mean, it is what they are here to be. They are here to be doing. And that doing can look different. And that's part of, I know what I talk about with them is, okay, but how are you defining productivity? Because does productivity have to be you are doing something for somebody else, or you're doing something for your business, or you're doing, what is productive? And how does productivity look? Like, is it productive to take a nap in the middle of the day because your body is tired? Yeah, it is. Yep. And we also, right, I think that word, because I love the word liberation. And I think that it gets, and you tell me what you think as well, Becca, since I know it's a term you use. I think it gets misused to think, again, it all has to look the same.
Yeah.
Like we all liberate in the same way.
There's an infinite number of tweaks that someone could make to their relationship with time to make it feel empowering, to feel embodied within their relationship with time, to feel like they have enough time. And I've never, in my 5 years of working with folks around it, like, I don't think that anyone has come up with the exact same thing that they needed to do, change that they needed to make to feel even more liberated, even, more abundant or joyful or present or calm or easeful, whatever they want more of in their world. It does not look the same at all, right? And it can't. Even just the one example that I gave with your rhythms, like, no one person has the same rhythm, and you don't even have the same rhythm throughout the cycle of your own life. Like, our rhythms change based on our age, based on how we slept, based on health conditions, based on so many factors. And again, like, just the simple solution of always coming back to yourself and becoming as aware of yourself as you can. That's what the starting point.
Yeah. I work with folks who are going through menopause and going through that transition. And that's a huge piece of that transition into this next chapter of our lives is like, but I don't operate like I used to.
Yep. Time shame.
Yeah. Ooh, time shame.
Yep. Time shame. It's, again, like that inner voice that is shaming us for not operating at the same rate or sameness, whatever. Again, time assumes linearness, sameness between all of us and within ourselves. So, focus changes at menopause, attention, this, like everything, so many things change, and unshaming the change is something that I've helped lots of people do, actually.
Shame is such a interesting thing, because I don't think any of us, the people in my world I'm going to speak to, I don't think any of us intentionally ever want to shame anybody. And yet there is so much shaming that goes on unintentionally, when we even just ask somebody, like, what have you been working on? What are you doing? Right? It's how was your day? Are we actually asking, how was your day? How energetically was your day? How emotionally satisfying was your day, or not?
Yep.
And if we don't have I think about when this was the first time that I was really, really aware of it. When I was at the Montessori school, it was really early on in my time there. So it was probably early 20, Iz was born in 2010, so early 2011. And I remember hearing the teachers say to each other, like, how are you doing? And they'd be like feeling a little depleted and feeling like, okay, I can get through this next cycle, but the classes were taught in cycles. They're taught in 3-hour cycles, working based on, during this work period, what are we going to do and how do we take care of our bodies, both those that are teaching and those who are facilitating, those that are learning, all of it. It was the first time I was really aware that when people ask you, how are you doing? You can say something other than fine, right? And when people say, so, right, what do you have going on? You don't have to give them the list of your schedule.
Right. Yeah. Everyone, like, it's so common to be like, how's your day? And be like, good. For me, I gardened, and then I'm going to like do a podcast and like help out with a friend at their book shop. And like, we tell people how we spend our time.
Yep.
And then we're internally measuring it.
Because we're spending it. It's currency. Or that's how we're treating it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I remember growing up, and my mom would always say like, I didn't do anything today. I didn't do anything this weekend, or whatever, whatever day. And I always was like, what are you talking about? We went to the grocery store. We cleaned the whole house. We watched TV. We showered. We made food. Like, I was like, we did all of this stuff, but we did nothing.
There's so little awareness of what our lives are filled with.
Yeah.
How full our lives are. We may not love what's going on, but there is fullness in there. Even when there's nothing happening, as you said, there is still so much fullness available to us.
Yeah. And now, like you said, what does productivity even mean? Because when we say I did nothing, that's because you're not thinking that it's productive. But to me, my definition of productivity is anything that's important to me or I need. So like anything that is important to me is productive. So like cleaning the house, going to the grocery store is productive as hell. So like reframing that was a big part of my healing around time, is acknowledging it, acknowledging myself. And now like it's so common in my everyday experience, and it's sort of a gratitude practice. I have a weird relationship with like gratitude practice because it can really easily turn into like another thing that you have to do, right? So yeah, like being able to acknowledge how I spent the day and like what I did and experienced and learned and accomplished, like all of it. I take into account all of that, not just the items that others would classify as productive.
So there are two things that are coming through. One is Louise and I had a conversation recently about, but do we have to be like, do we always have to be growing? I think that was the question that we were kind of wrestling with, is do we always have to be growing, right?
Nope.
And then the second thing is I want to know, and I know this is not traditionally like me and like Louise and I interviewing you, but like I want to know your time story. I want to know what got you to this place of I need to heal my relationship with time, if you feel like sharing that.
Yeah. And yeah, no, I think constant growth is unnatural. I work on a farm, I garden, like the more in touch that we are with nature and natural cycles, like we can come to know that constant growth is toxic. So that's my thought on that. It's just bad for the soil. It's bad for everyone involved. But yeah, my time story, I like to go back ancestral because again, I bring up ancestral times. So like my grandpa immigrated to the US and my grandma did as well. And they met and, hustled their booties off and were typical boomers, sort of like leaving their kids alone. And then my dad became an entrepreneur, business owner, and same thing, like replicated that ancestral harm, generational harm of like workaholism, and in my family addiction as well was paired with all of that. And so I grew up very much like measuring my worth by how much I got done. My mom as well was in the medical field, and her dad was an entrepreneur still was until recently. And yeah, like just very much grew up with like entrepreneurs working more than they needed to from a false scarcity place. I think early on in both my grandpa and my dad's business, both people, it's an early business. And so because of capitalism tying money and time, like they were just working a ton and then they never stopped the rest of their life. And so like I still see my dad, who's now sort of retired, he can't sit still. He can't rest. He can't, and that's so common for everybody, but like specifically my family. And so that's what I took from them, my teachers, my conditioners, and became an engineer. And when I was becoming an engineer, had a total breakdown, like went to the hospital with an intestinal infection from like overworking and over partying basically in college. And still continued in that same vein, but trying to take better care of myself. And I went to like yoga and meditation, and I was like, this shit is dumb. Also, sorry if I can't cuss. But yeah, like I was just like, what is breathing? Like, what is slowing down? I don't want to do any of this. It's horrible. And eventually I fell in love with it. Thank God. And became a yoga teacher. And so I was an engineer and a yoga teacher at the same time. And I also followed in my grandparents' footsteps of working for the federal government and as an engineer. And I did that for like 4 years while realizing that I didn't want to be in that industry. I didn't want to be chained to a desk 40 hours a week and working for, at that time, the Trump administration came into office a year into working there. And so I was just like, what am I doing with my life? Like, it's bleh. So yeah, I think throughout that period of time was a lot of, balancing and navigating and doing this work of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, how I wanted to spend my day, what was getting in the way of that. Most of it for me, because of so many privileges that I have, I was able to heal a lot of the internal narratives that were there. And, just small moments, like I would come home and my husband would be like playing video games on the couch and I would get so angry. I used to get like so pissed off that he'd be able to like rest and take a break and do nothing, quote unquote, right? So yeah, just like small moments over the last 13 years, I've been conscious of my relationship with time. And now I'm doing hypnosis. I've been a hypnotist for the last 9-ish months. And now I get to like play with people doing like past life regressions and like do a lot of cool unconscious time sort of traveling. And I think that there's like, like I said, ancestral time healing, being at this farm and being with my aunt and uncle and really like learning the land and the cycles of nature here and how that connects me to my ancestors. And like I could probably keep going forever, but that's what's coming up for me now.
It's, we carry so much, right, with us. And that story that you're talking about and how we see others spend time, right? And especially in our family and how they value time and what does that feel like, look like, and sound like. And before you know it, we're right talking that talk, feeling those feels without even really thinking about it. It's been so interesting. Like this whole conversation has been like that word relationship, right? And it's like, fuck, why didn't I think of that before? Like, I know we have a relationship with money, right? Like I can do some money work around like, what's this relationship and how that is. I can do some great, I can have some great conversations with my clients about their relationship with work, right? And how that is absolutely a relationship, right? We think work brings something to us, or when we're in a toxic relationship, all that. I never, ever thought about time in that way, ever. And I'm like, what is my relationship with time? And what am I relying on time to bring me?
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's why I love having conversations, because it's such like an intimate, invisible thing that we don't give it enough attention at all. We don't give time enough time.
We don't give time enough time, right?
Yeah.
We take time for granted.
We abuse it.
Oh my God, do we abuse it? Yeah.
We abuse the shit out of our time. We are so mean to ourselves through how we spend our time. Yeah. Like, I should have gotten more done. I'm so bad at time. This thing took me so long. I wasted the whole day. Like, I could keep going on for hours and hours about the stories and things that we tell ourselves using time as the vehicle.
The number of 30 somethings, so Louise and I are in our 50s, the number of 30 somethings that I'm hearing that are saying, I've wasted my life.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, you have no idea how much time you have. Please don't think, like, I'm 55. I have not wasted my life.
Yeah.
I've changed careers multiple times. I'm on my second and last marriage. Like, last being, I love him, I'm keeping him, but like, I'm not planning him getting married again. I never know how to say that.
I'm never doing this again. That's really what I heard.
Yeah.
But it is so interesting because we get to these milestones in our life and we feel like we've wasted it. So we spend time, we waste time, we fritter time, we abuse time, we have time shame. The fuck? Like, can we have some time love?
Yeah.
And time
embodiment,
compassion?
time liberation, time expansion.
Ooh, let's talk time expansion.
There's so many things that we could do to expand our time. We don't even know.
Well, I think of like I worked with this shaman once, and it was like I can't explain 100% what I experienced, but what I experienced was jumping time. I don't know if it was timelines or whatever it was, but it was like I was I was experiencing time from multiple lenses almost. And yeah, that was a moment where I went, ooh, we can play with it.
It's malleable. It's
Which
malleable as fuck.
That doesn't connect with, like, Louise, like, you can bend time.
Oh yeah, you can bend time, like we're constantly already bending time. Like, both of you are actively bending your time all of the time. For example, this conversation, it's been, I don't know, it's 12:48 my time, but like
38 minutes.
It's been 38 minutes, and depending on who you are and what you value and your energetic state right now, that might have not, that maybe that's felt like 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 5 hours. Like, our emotional and mental state is like one of the quickest ways that we can bend time.
Yeah. And understanding that and being present, right, in this moment, and not worrying about what's past or what is yet to be.
Yep. Presence is one of the greatest ways to bend time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love connecting things that people do back to their core values, because that's a conscious way to bend time as well. An example that I love bringing up is, like, I have a client who's self-employed and hates emailing people, like hates the admin work. And the moment that we were like, oh, that's just actually relationship building and responding to humans and talking to humans, they've been on top of their email and responding to people I'm going to say in a timely manner, what the fuck is even that, is like no problem. Just the moment that they bring it back to their core values, it solves any of the resistance to doing a thing.
So we use the word presence. There's a little bit around consciousness here that I don't think we've talked, like that place of higher consciousness, awareness, right? All those words that we kind of bat around. I'd love to know, as we're kind of coming to the end of our time together, although I would love to continue bending time and continue this conversation for so much longer, what are some of the things that we want to make sure our listeners are gleaning from this conversation and being able to take with them?
Yeah. You know, I think like we feel so unknowingly stuck when it comes to time. Like we think we have to do it one way. We think we have to live our lives in this one way. Even we're talking about milestones, like you have a baby, you go to college, I did that backwards maybe, but like like there's like a set milestone in our life that we have to follow or feel like we have to follow. Like we've been conditioned to believe so much about our life and how we spend it, and there's so much more expansion and liberation and possibility available to all of us. Like no matter your brain, no matter your circumstances, your economic status, your body, like anything, there's millions of ways to feel fulfilled, to feel at ease, to feel like you're living true to yourself. And I think the most beautiful thing that I love to come back to for sure is like a world where people feel whole and alive and fulfilled and rested is a better world. Like it's not just about us.
The end.
That was beautiful.
For the beginning, that was beautiful. You know, taking the time to like really, like I'm still, my brain is just really unpacking this whole, like, what is my relationship with time? And it's, you know, I know we talked about like time liberation, right? Like, and feeling like this freedom, but I think it's even more than just like, right, like throwing your schedule out the window. This is like truly, how am I going to speak for the rest of the world, but I could, how am I really, what are my demands, and what is that relationship with time? Like, what am I really asking it to do for me, that I'm giving my power away in that space, right? And that's like, I don't have an answer, but like, man, Becca, like you have planted a seed. Ooh, there's some gardening going on. You've planted a seed, because it's like there's something here that really I want to examine and unpack a little bit, because I'm not happy with my relationship currently with time. We're gonna have a talk.
Yeah. And
we may not need to break up.
We might, it might not be a breakup, but it's definitely a conversation we're gonna have.
You can't break up with it. You're stuck with it. Because it's you. It's your life.
That's right.
Yeah. That and for me, that's the core thing, is that no matter what other relationships we have with money, with people, with work, with whatever, with food, our relationship with time has to be figured out.
It's central.
It is absolutely central.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the little foundation that spreads out into all of these areas. We can't show up for our work, our relationships, our money, our body, our anything without time. Time is the medium.
I think you just put her into hot flash.
No, but
Oh.
so something that I've been wanting to put together is sort of like a relationship with time audit. So I think this conversation may spur that, and I will include that as send it to you as a link for people to help sort of, get their bearings on all of this.
That would be
yes,
great.
please.
Yeah.
Love that.
I've done a couple of time audits with people, not just like, let's look at your time, but this relationship with time audit. And it is, when you have that moment that Louise just had, which I bet you get all the time, of that, like, wait, what? And I get to choose. I get to like understand this on a deeper level. It is the work you are doing is powerful. It is powerful. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to add, like, there's no behind. Like, there's no behind on your relationship with time at all, ever, for anyone. Like, I'm constantly tweaking and updating my relationship with time. Like I said, we're constantly changing as human beings. And so there's no end destination. There's nothing to figure out. It's literally just an evolving relationship. And we get to bring all of these like self-awareness and loving tools. And then it's just like this like cool download connection to time. We already have a lot of the tools. We just have to connect it to time.
You're not late.
Late's not real.
Woo, late's not real. Ooh. Don't tell my mom. She's literally late to everything.
Good. She should be, because she's on her own timeline. That's her clock.
Actually, it doesn't bother me, but what bothers me is that everybody wants me to answer like where she is and why she's late. I'm like, I don't fucking know. She's a grown-ass woman.
You just need like the Find My Friends. You guys need to share locations.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't know. Deal with it.
Oh, I love it. Thanks, Becca. Where can folks connect with you besides the link in our show notes? Where are you at?
The link's at the show notes. Instagram, LinkedIn, my website. And I'll add the link to the time relationship loving audit.
Beautiful. Do you have a podcast?
Oh yeah, that too. I have a podcast called Not Too Productive. I'm in too many places. Y'all, I have a project management, like an anti-capitalist project management agency. I have my hypnotist coaching business, and then I also certify coaches and facilitators in holistic time practitioner if they want to be able to better support their clients around time. So I got like lots of projects. Whew. And I love them all.
Okay, I gotta know. Do you know your human design?
I'm a manifesting generator.
That's what I thought. There's nobody that has that many businesses that's not a Manny-gen.
I'm a Manny-gen through and through.
Woo-woo.
And I'm a farmer, and pick up some shifts at the little organic veggie shop up the street. Like,
yeah. Manny-gen
I have a full
heaven.
life. Yeah, like I feel so fulfilled. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you again so much for being here. It has been just a pleasure to unpack the concept around our relationship with time, but also to really start to embody and let into our bodies that place of time liberation. So thank you again, Becca, for being here.
I love it. Thank you for your time, Becca and Kim, and dear listener. We're really glad you were here. Take care, everyone.
Bye for now.
And that's all for this week's episode of the Empowered and Embodied Show. We hope today's episode has sparked something within you. Remember, we're all on this journey together. If something did resonate with you today, why not share it with a friend who might need to hear it too? You can find us everywhere you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling generous, leave a review. Your feedback not only helps others find the show, but also helps us understand what's most valuable to you. Until next time, be kind to yourself, stay curious, and remember, we're walking right alongside you. Thanks for being part of our community.